liberation just have vastly different understandings of what liberation is for.
I haven't seen this much importance and attention.
The story itself is a really wonderful, really great setup.
Tractor beam has been engaged.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews, your one-stop shop for in-depth commentary and discussion on this week's Star Wars comics. It is Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. That's right, it's already October, guys. It's the 40th week of comics in 2025. I'm Matthew here in Underworld North. That's Chris over in Underworld, New Jersey. How's it going, Chris?
Well, it's going good. It's another normal Star Wars week. There's no crazy trailers. Nothing big news stories. We're settling in here for just a normal week so far. I mean, we're only halfway.
Yeah,
we don't know what's going to happen. Thursday, Friday, who knows?
Friday at 3 a.m. They're going to drop some sort of... They're going to drop the Mall Shadow Lord trailer tomorrow. Clearly is what's going to happen tomorrow. That's a joke, guys. I'm kidding. Where am I? Anyways, we do have one book on the docket today, and then we're going to get in some other things. But first, let's get to the plugs out of the way. You can follow us on Blue Sky at The Tractor Beam. It's thetractorbeam.bisky.social. And, of course, you can follow everything Chris is up to on Twitter, on twitter.com/starraptor. That's STARRAPTER, and youtube.com/starraptor, where you already got your review of this book up. So check that out, kind of the recap. Check that out. Also, if you prefer Twitter and Instagram and Threads and all that stuff, it's at the SWU is where you want to go. Then is churning out all the book stuff, all the comic stuff as best he can, among everything else. So give us the love, give it the holistic follow across the network there. And of course, if audio is more your speed, if you prefer that, this is already going up on YouTube podcasts. I realize Google just has it integrated, but for Spotify or Apple or I think some other podcatchers, right after we record, I will throw it up onto there. And so go check that out. Search the Tractor Beam Star Wars comics reviews there for our audio feed and for some back issues, as we say there. Of course, we are proudly part of the Star Wars Underworld podcast network, and here on the YouTube channel, as I always say every week, we've got super chats, we've got YouTube memberships. So if you chat with us normally in the comments, we're happy to respond in the flow of conversation. If you super chat us, if you're willing to contribute financially to the channel, we will get to that comment immediately. Won't pass go unless we're in the middle of another super chat, in which case we won't. But I'll interrupt Chris for the super chat. Also, with the Underworld Network, down in the description below, you can get into our Discord server where we're chatting all sorts of things, different comics news, all obviously, of course, the film news, visions, everything going on there. And also apparently right now, if we're glad for you to keep watching, but if you prefer, I think they're playing D&D right now, so go check that out if you prefer. Otherwise, I believe they might be doing some events on Friday, game nights, different things happening. So stay tuned in the Discord server for that. As long as you're good people, the water's fine. Great conversation. So check that out. All right, as mentioned, we got one book on the docket. I'm gonna take a swig of water and dive right into that. It is ongoing number 6 by Alex Segura, with art and cover by Phil Noto and colors and everything, the whole gamut by Mr. Phil Noto, and letters by VC's Clayton Coles. The New Republic on the brink of war. Luke, Han, and Valance face off against a swarm of Clone War era threats. Princess Leia plays the only card she has left against the mounting threat. Rynn Zenat discovers a clue that sheds light on the struggles of the mysterious Nagai. Because there's only one book, we can kind of break it down into a few different plot beats and focuses. So let's start with the Luke and Han Valance story specifically. And last issue I said, okay, this just seems a bit derivative of the Rebels episode, where similar place they go and kind of, I guess 9 years before this, they go, is it 9 years, something like that, 5-6 years before this, they go and they encounter this these droids, this droid army contingent, and have to fight them off, have to fend them off. The interesting wrinkle there is that the Empire comes, and so Kanan and Ezra team up with the droids there. And I last time I thought this was going to be a bit derivative of that, but the difference here is Luke making all these not just references, but Luke being there and having his tie to, first it says Ben, no, Obi-Wan, how'd you do it, what'd you do, because we know he was communing with him all through the original trilogy. And panel of the week for me, I don't have it up, but kind of just delving into the legacy of the Jedi, more specifically, with the Kin Ezra story, the Rebels, that kind of more delved into the Clone Wars generally, and the how it was engineered by Palpatine and whatnot. Now the Palpatine's gone, but now that Luke has this personal tie with these heroes, Obi-Wan, and of course his father, Anakin, like a Skywalker before me, it adds this extra weight to this. He's really digging into, if he's digging into the legacy of the Jedi, he's digging into his own past, namely his father and his father's closest friend. And that just added this whole extra dimension to what Luke is doing in this era of exploring that legacy, and just a reminder that it is this personal journey. And so I really, really appreciated that touch by Alex. And then of course Han and Valance, they got the clone trooper buckets on, so that was also fun to see, the phase twos of the different unit there. So I mean, that's my kind of opening thought on the Luke and Han Valance story. Chris, I'll throw it to you. What struck you about that aspect of this comic book?
Oh, it's awesome. I think of playing with the toys as a kid, playing with miniatures. I still do. Having Luke clone armor with the blaster, with the saber at the same time. Yeah, I always love that akimbo, like you're holding a saber and a blaster in each hand. Love that. Loved playing like that in Cal Kestis and Jedi Survivor. That play style was great. So I always appreciate when we get some action like that. Cool attention to detail. With the blasters they use, again, as my Legion nutcase self knows all the weapons in Star Wars because of that game. He had a deal. You had Valance. I like how Valance was, because it could be hard. Like, okay, you have 3 clone troopers. Who's who? But the way I figured it out is like, okay, Luke obviously has a saber. Valance has a DLT-19, which is like the very long blaster. See them walking around within the Death Star in A New Hope.
This panel,
and then you have Han, I believe, has a DC-17,
right,
which is like your generic like clone blaster. So it was good that they picked out that to differentiate them. Yeah. But I mean, it was fun. It was a blast from the past. It's one of those things like, what was the purpose of wearing the clone armor? Because that's not really going to protect you from anything. We've seen so many clones get shot down. One blast to the chest, they go down. It's like, what's the point of the armor? Like, same thing with stormtroopers, same grade quality. It's like, is this really going to help you that much against the droids? I don't know. In fact, with like Luke as a Jedi, it might be hampering his ability to use the Force in a way, like with the helmet and everything. So that was a little question. That's where this storyline was like, all right, this is just like, a fun what if situation.
Yeah,
that was glorified by the writer. It's like, how could I fit this in the storyline and have this fun moment? But was it really critical?
No.
Not really. In fact, I did get misleaded a little bit around the action, unfortunately. And it might just because the real estate of the panels, there just wasn't enough to really tell the story. But like, what was going on with Luke with the tank?
He was kind of crawling underneath it. Or maybe he was almost hiding for a second, trying to figure it out.
Because I
that's
was
where.
expecting
Sorry, go
him to like saber through the bottom of it like
Yeah.
Yoda did,
ahead.
but apparently he didn't do that. I guess he was just like force speed crawling out of the other side before the droid found him that peeked underneath,
Yeah.
and then he like used the force to like get a droid to throw into the gunner seat. That part misled me, and I'm like, oh, I wish we could have done something a little different with the design of this action sequence because it was misleading.
Mhm.
And it's a shame because up until that moment, that was really cool when he actually incited for help from Yoda and Ben.
Yeah.
We have never
Yoda
seen
too.
Luke in this situation. We figure at this point he's a damn Jedi Master at this point.
Mhm.
He doesn't need anybody anymore. You know, he is at that point where he's
Mhm.
like powerful, right? So to see him still being modest with his force ability to incite the help, and
Mhm.
of course we don't get a response, but that was interesting. It gives me a little bit more of like the mental state of where Luke Skywalker is at this
Mhm.
moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get a literal response. It's true, but I think the response we get again is this panel of the week. I'm getting to it. I found it. This one right here. I mean, that's amazing. I want more Luke
I
Anakin
knew you were
content
going to
here.
say that.
Of course. You know me.
That part didn't make any sense. I that was put in there
yeah.
like two panel like a panel of a narration of Luke. Like I don't know why that was
Yeah,
important
that
to
did
put in
feel
there.
a bit.
That felt out
Yeah.
of place.
So it might have been better maybe if it would have been wild if instead you continued him trying to commune with these Jedi who have come before. Says, "Oh, and Father, what'd you do?" If he was still doing that or talking to Obi-Wan or something. So yeah, the shift in narrating style was a little odd, but the actual idea, the thought that he's really, again, I mentioned this already, but really digging into and in continuing to embrace the legacy of his father, right? We know Leia struggles with that. We have that in Princess and the Scoundrel and some other stories. I think Legend Stories goes into that as well. Here, I mean, even in Return of the Jedi, it's like saying, they're on Endor there on that bridge. He's like, yeah, I know you're Anakin Skywalker, my father. There's good in you and all that. So to see that continue, even though it's a little kind of violent and clattery, but of course they're clankers, so what can you do? But I do agree the whole style was a bit interesting because it's the way we read in our heads. But I don't know. Any further thoughts on this aspect of the story?
I mean, it does tie in with the rebel officers, the blockade runner. They are harboring a fugitive that was going to supply information to the Xantark gang. So, again, now I like how they laid out that the plan because they laid it out.
Right.
And now maybe I should just save this for the end of the discussion. But from this point of this story, I got I got an idea that there's a finite amount of space in this comic book now.
Yeah.
We know what's happening. There's no more surprises at this point. It's like maybe 2 or 3 issues left, and I think we're done with this story. That's how I felt. Like
Interesting.
It feels isolated. It's like, okay, here's the problem. They're trying to use our people for slaves. They're using our people as slaves, as slave labor, essentially, to build like more Empire machines.
Yeah.
Because Reyna Skura has access to the Imperial equipment because she was working for Adelhard for the longest time. So she's the one supplying all the tech, all the armor. And then you have the government that's a part of it. Everything, it's like all roads lead to Caltrace. The story is going to end by them. Luke is going to end up probably having to kill Reyna Skura once and for all. He's going to be dealing with the tragedy of him maybe killing maybe it's not him, maybe somebody else kills her. She's got to die. She's got to do something because she can't resurface again because that'll just be the same story over again. You can't let her go again.
Yeah.
Can't let her escape. But it feels like, okay, now we got this plot. And that's the story. Yeah, that's the Luke story in this way. And Leia's going to be working on political aspect, obviously, of this whole conflict now, deciding to help from the New Republic, and why this is important, why this is a time when they should actually get a military, maybe, or maybe not, or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. We'll pick up the question of what happens next in a minute, but let's talk about this whole Leia Mothma scene, because that, and I want to couple that with Rynn finding this Nagai kind of operative. I can't quite tell who this is. Forget who this is. The connection with the Nagai forces hiding out on Caltrace and ready to ambush Oscura and all them. Leia and Mon Mothma having continuing this large scale debate over the soul of the New Republic, and this great moment where I'll actually try and find it, but Leia says something to the effect of, is our so Mon Mothma is all unsure kind of what to do, it seems, or she's just laying out the situation here.
Yeah,
this is page 8. Caltrace has fallen. Our diplomatic efforts to contain the Fenril consortium are at an end, and Leia asks, "What are you suggesting, Mon? We go back to eternal, interminable war." Here's this key quote: "Is this how our grand revolution ends? The second our mettle is tested, we fall back into old habits. We answer threats and violence with bigger threats and violence. So much for the New Republic, then." So she says the grand revolution is to not answer threats and violence with bigger threats and violence. It is to continue to fight for, I don't know, say a diplomatic solution, but a less confrontational one.
This was the most interesting part of this book.
It really is, yeah.
If this part didn't exist in this book, I would have been pretty let down, honestly.
It's fair. I can see that. I mean, it really, honestly,
look, substance.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, it added substance. Like this is the first time we've ever had any kind of semblance of, okay, why are we going to be different than the Empire? Why are we going to be different from the original Republic? Like, what makes us, oh, we really are trying to be pacifists. Oh, we're actually trying to be so diplomatic that we really want to do everything in our power. We have these people charging us with ships about to blow us away. And I'm still sitting here trying to figure out how to get out of this diplomatically. How are we going to defer? How are we going to show the people of the galaxy that we're different from the Republic, that we're different from the Empire? Like this could be the flashpoint moment that really builds out how the New Republic operates from here on out, because it's their first post-Empire ascendant, faction. This is their time to shine, to show the galaxy what they're made of. So I understand, like Leia, it's like this is a stressful time, because depending on how they respond, the galaxy's watching. And that's exactly what Reyna Oscura is trying to pull the strings to get them to act brashly, to get them to get more followers to join the Fenril Consortium. So it is kind of cool. Now that I'm talking this point out loud, it actually makes a much more compelling storyline going forward from her perspective, with her storyline.
Yeah, well, with Leia and Reyna, I mean, it really brings the large scale view, the scope of what Alex Segura is hopefully, I think, trying to say, the story he's trying to tell, right? He meant, it is the first major test for the New Republic after the Battle of Jakku, and like you said, how they respond to this test, it determines the path forward. Again, that's a much larger scale story that someone that can only be coming in the dialogue between Leia and Mon Mothma, because they're the ones continuing to tell this wider story. These little scenes seem to be the most interesting part of this comic for me. And so, I agree. I'm glad we got it. It's a really fascinating question to see what they end up doing. What is curious, though, kind of going this back and forth, calling it a revolution, and of course Leia was the revolutionary, and then here she's more given over to diplomacy. That's an interesting thing. Go from Life, Death, and the Aftermath trilogy. She was the one who kind of struggled to convert over to forming a government, and Mon Mothma had to coax her. One of the few things that are burned in my head from the Aftermath trilogy were forming a government, Leia. And here, Leia is basically reiterating that back to her. We're forming a government here, and what kind of government are we trying to form? And now she's has this almost not quite a zeal of the convert. She's too sober for that, but she clearly is committed to this to the point of risk. And it is interesting to see Mon Mothma. I don't think she's faltering, but maybe she's kind of hanging back a bit to see what Leia is going to do, what Leia is going to choose. And it turns out Leia has already chosen something. Now, here's the odd thing. What she's chosen is something kind of violent, right? It's this guerrilla insurgency on Caltrace. She's in cahoots. She got her operatives in cahoots with the Nagai, and they're gonna have this probably a smaller scale, almost a proxy war. Is the interesting thing is, maybe, and I'm bringing that up because we look at the Cold War in the U.S. and their proxy wars a little negatively, but what if in this case it's a bit of a proxy war so that it prevents the wider confrontation, right? That almost to say it is kind of like a rebel insurgency that they have to, maybe they'll end up capturing or at least cornering the Fenril leadership and even Rynn herself or something, and hopefully forcing a more diplomatic solution in that way. So, aggressive negotiations. So there's another Anakin reference here. Aggressive negotiations that is using with this challenge, this threat. And it was really intriguing moment, intriguing kind of layered, nuanced back and forth here with Leia really taking charge in a lot of ways. Because Mon Mothma, she's there in the Mandoverse, but after that, who knows? And of course, we know 30 years from now, Leia's going to see this threat on the horizon, and she's going to just go with the Resistance. And is the New Republic funding them or not? That whole question, but that's kind of on the horizon in the future. But it was it's such a key telling moment. So
it's good to see that we're getting Mon Mothma, the bigger scope of the Republic, because that is one of the biggest moments, right? Biggest points of her transitioning. We're figuring it out with the Mandalorian, getting an idea of like with the pilot, the New Republic pilot, what's his name that personally,
Carson Teva.
Yes, him.
Yeah.
Like he's our focal point into the New Republic.
I don't know Paul personally. I've just met him.
Carson Teva's going around there. So it's now we're getting the comic version. All right, what's going to happen here? We're fleshing this out. So it's continuing to flesh out what really gives the identity of the Republic, because the sequel trilogy definitely left a lot to be desired on that front.
Sure. And filling in kind of the context for that in retrospect a little bit. I think some other later set comic books need to do that more in novels, but so this gets kind of maybe the third thing to bring up with this comic is what next. Like we brought this up before, and we'll sort of segue into the second part of our show tonight, but I do want to speak to this ongoing run because interestingly, you felt okay, this is defined, this is this limited story. I actually felt I see what you mean in that this arc can be limited. I actually thought this scene especially lays the potential for this run to truly be ongoing. to go past this and address so many different other challenges and other dynamics and other things, building a government and building this New Republic story out, getting its act together, right? That's, I mean, the part of it, because it's the story I want, but to say this is this first arc that, and this arc could be 9-10 issues, doesn't have to be 6 issues, it obviously won't be, but the first arc that sets things up, and in this scene especially sets the terms of the debate, and with Luke exploring the past, the Jedi past more explicitly again, sets the terms for what he's going to do, and Han and Valance, but especially Leia and Mon Mothma. Again, once this threat is dealt with, there's always going to be something else. There's always going to be something more to challenge them, to push the characters, to push Leia into more of a leadership role, because that's the thing. She's still Mon Mothma's number 2 here. She's, even in the original trilogy, she's the focal point because she's the main character, but she isn't entirely running the show, right? We know, again, Mon Mothma and General Riken and Admiral Akbar, she's not really part of the command structure, but she's kind of in the command structure. They're on top of it more so. And also she's young. She's still younger. So that character arc, and of course the maturity of the New Republic, as something that, unlike what Din Djarin says, isn't actually a joke, at least to the characters, to the characters that we have in this comic book. That I was talking about this on Monday. That the reason the New Republic doesn't look like a joke here, even if that's not so much in a continuity with what we see in the Mandoverse, is because this story is written from the perspective of characters who take the New Republic seriously. Let's do that more. Let's explore that more. That's something that Star Wars hasn't done much. I mean, the High Republic did it in the sense of showing this central government as a force for good and choosing into this more diplomatic route, more consensus building route, coalition building route, as opposed to, like, saying what Markian wanted, what Reyna Skur wants them, what Darth Sidious wanted them to fall to the dark side and take up arms. I think there's an intriguing story here, and there are seeds of an intriguing story here. This is based on nothing in terms of what I know about news or speculation, purely based on the story that's laid out in this art, in this comic specifically, as it's built up. But it's left me wanting more after this arc. So that's my thoughts and feels. I don't know if you have a response to that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, yeah. I agree. I think when it comes to just overall the trajectory of where we're going, I could see where there could be more stories taking place.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just don't know if this run is really going to be impactful for enough from the comic book industry to warrant them getting more stories. And I'm just reading the tea leaves on the wall. Like with San Diego Comic-Con, they didn't talk about the flagship series at all. New York Comic-Con, Alex Segura is not even on the list for the panels. It just seems like they're really, like, Lucasfilm is doing like, they're just doing everything they can just to not promote it. So it's like, what's the story here? Looking from the outside, but then now looking and seeing, like, okay, there's a clearly defined point of ending for this story. So that's why I'm leaning, okay, maybe like issue number 10, there's 4 more issues to tell this story. They can do a big battle in 4 issues, and then, just get a new writer, get a new creative. Because I thought it would be crazy for Phil Noto to do like 30, 40, 50 issues of this just by himself anyway. Well, I always thought that they were on borrowed time from having him as an artist. I mean, they always change artists, but...
Didn't he do all of Charles Soule's Podameron run?
Oh, yeah. I guess he did, didn't he?
But,
yeah.
But yeah,
so
yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's their new thing. We're gonna just do mega arcs, and we're gonna just change up
Mhm.
the creative teams, like with
Yeah.
Legacy of Vader. That's only gonna be
Sure.
what, 10 issues or 12 issues?
Yeah, probably 10 or 12.
Yeah,
So yeah, the real world considerations, sure. Yeah.
but
I can see.
if we're taking that out of context, yeah, like
Mhm.
we could keep doing it. It's like it's tough, man,
Mhm.
because for the longest time, right, we're thinking like, hey, the Empire
Mhm.
was defeated
Mhm.
after the events of the Battle of Endor, the Battle of Jakku. There's this big gap here
Mhm.
between the First Order re-emerging. At a certain point, there sort of has to be really low stakes there.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
true.
hard to write a compelling comic book story where you're not going to have these like higher stakes and conflict. Otherwise,
Mhm.
like what's happened in 30 years? Like action drives a lot of the stories. We're not
Mhm.
going to, sell a lot of comics if it's just a lot of people
Right.
talking about the state of the government and nothing helping out,
I will buy
nothing
it.
happening. You will, but not many other
Yeah,
people will, and that's
it's
just
hard
not the.
to write a good selling comic without that context, especially in Star Wars. Star Wars.
So
Yeah.
yes, with that in mind, with the
Mm.
stakes in mind,
Mhm.
again, this is why we're not getting a lot of these stories
Yeah.
because I'm sure Lucasfilm, like, just we've seen about
Mhm.
the Luke Skywalker story before with the canon thing last week, where
Yeah.
it was like had a hard time just saying he was going to go fishing for some reason.
Right. Yeah.
So once stuff is made, canon story group is like it's kind of set in stone for the most part.
Mhm.
So I just feel like there's got to be extreme pressure on whatever writer is writing in this era.
Yeah.
Because with the Mandoverse still going on, there's still a lot of gate points that you can't really trot it into yet.
Mhm.
So I feel like what we're getting now are these stories where they're playing it a little bit safe because that's the only way these artists and these in the comics industry
Mhm.
to still get the stories made. They can't be
Yeah.
pushing things too crazily right now. Maybe they can in this era, 20 years in our time. They can go back and fill in everything
Yeah.
because at that point, they probably won't have movies. Or hey, maybe if Mando Grogu does really well, we could get another 10 movies if they keep making them like that, and it could
You never know.
extend the
Yeah.
Mandoverse further and further and further
Mhm.
along.
Yeah.
Um, that's a topic for another day, but
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, you make obviously you're right. Like in terms of the real world considerations. And I mean, even again, what Joel and I have talked about, and I think we talked about here. That's true. The fact that the Mandoverse story hasn't been finished yet. Uh, Paper stories that are either officially or unofficially tied in to a screen story or leading towards a screen story are always going to be better when that screen story is finished and released and everyone knows it, and the authors and the writers can sit down and think about what is this story that I just watched, and is there anything I want to write kind of backing into that. So yeah, that's definitely a consideration. Also, I wonder if, given those economic considerations, in that how to write a good selling comic without more action, because that's the genre, that's the medium. It's a visual medium in that way. Maybe this era will be better served by a novel. Write a smaller Leia story, write a smaller Leia Mothma story. Maybe that is the third Raid of the Empire. I've had this wild harebrained theory that the third from the ashes is actually set after Endor Jakku. I don't know. I don't think that's likely, but one of those kind of speculate wild speculations I have.
huh.
But yeah, I think my point being, a novel, you can take the time to get into characters' heads more. You can take the time. I mean, that's something they try. Alex Segura gets into Luke's head for a second. It's kind of out of place only
Yeah,
because it hadn't been used in this issue before. But also, you do want to do that sparingly, like the internal thought bubble. You want to do a little sparingly, because then it comes
yeah.
to kind of dominate the issue. I find my reading in that way. So Yeah, I think a novel. And if Alex Agura wants to write that novel, he knows how to write novels.
Yeah, he did a Poe Dameron novel. That was really good. Yeah.
So
Yeah, we need more novels about the big three, man. I mean, Adam Christopher seems to have figured it out. He's done a book on Luke and Lando. He's doing a book on Darth Vader.
Yeah.
These prime characters. Maybe give him a book for. Come on, I'm hoping for a good book announcement near Comic-Con this year.
Yeah, why not?
We don't know much coming out. I mean, it's like we could segue now if you want, because I could talk about Comic-Con
so
a little bit.
I do want to doing a note. Phil Noto, he did issue in the Poe Dameron on Wikipedia. He did issues 1 to 6 and 8 to 13. The internal art for those, but he did the covers for the whole series. So yeah.
Oh, he did stop after a while. Okay.
Yeah. But it, like his style is so distinctive for that run. The thing looking ahead, I do want to do this bit quickly, only because things are still up in the air, because we don't know. I'm gonna start actually looking at the solicits, and so starting with the Marvel's December 2025 solicits that I guess they came out. Did they come out last week? They came out 2 weeks ago, and whatnot. So I'll run through, and on the Marvel website they actually have the release dates here. So we're from this. This is from. So December 3rd will be Legacy of Vader 3. Is that right? 3. That can't be right. 3 can't be right.
No.
Probably 8. It probably is December 3rd. So I actually put 3. That's probably what happened. Or whatever number. I don't know whatever number that is. Legacy of Vader something is coming out in December 3rd. December 10th is Hunt for the Falcon number 4 of 5. It says. December 17th, Jedi Knights number 10. I think of 12. I think. Or of something. December 24th, here's interesting. Ongoing number 8. So there's at least 2 more issues in this one. So it's Christmas Eve, and then New Year's Eve, Boba Fett Black, White, and Red number 4, ringing out the 52nd week of comics in 2025, with Boba Fett Black, White, and Red, Black, White, and Red number 4 of 4. The big question looking at these solicits isn't so much what is on there, but what isn't. And for the second month in a row, Aphra Chaos Agent is not in the solicits. And so, as we kind of speculated last week, means it will be likely wrapping up with issue number 5 at the end of this month on October 29th. So, again, also too bad, because the last issue number 4, left me wanting more. Kind of really interesting. Certainly the twist at the end. There's a lot more potential there, but again, this is this weird sort of in transitional time in Star Wars comics where I don't think any of these issues are going to go past 15 or 20.
I've been voicing my displeasure with the Aphra series. I mean, the creative team. I just don't really think that the design of the whole layout of the whole series was really that great. I appreciate they're trying something different by having like a story of the week. On paper that would sound good for Aphra, but
like team up of the month, basically.
But like it's just not working. Like we're not getting much out of Aphra. Like there's not much layers there's nothing new that I've learned about the character, and the characters that she surrounded herself are the characters that are safe characters that can't be really done, and they can't go through any crazy things because these are legacy characters. So I think that's part of the problem here, is pairing her with those characters has hamstrung any growth on her character, and it's taken the fun and zaniness out of her character. So while I appreciate, like, hey, it's a cool what if Aphra and Luke teamed up? What if Luke, what if her and Han teamed up? What if her and Chewie? Like, those are cool and all, but I think you just aren't able to really make as big a swings when those characters are involved. Hence, story feels rather bland to me. And I'm sure I'm not the only one thinking about that. And, things are weighed from sales. So apparently a lot of other people just weren't, happy enough to pick up at issue number 2, I guess.
And that this is the wild thing. Issue number 5, huge swing, brand new character. Turns out she has a sister that we've never met before. So and turns out she's the one who helped get rid of her tattoos or deactivate them. And they that's the thing. They, like you said, they played it safe with these legacy characters when they could have taken a swing in issue number 1. Issue number 4 could have been issue number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, have Chewie and Chrysanthemum have one cool team up of the week, team up of the month. Make it Chewie and Chrysanthemum. Just start with issue number 4. Honestly, like that just drops you in the middle, kinda. And then maybe build out the whole Sabers thing, because I think that's an intriguing idea too. But yeah, I agree there. Here's the challenge with Afra, is that I think I've said this before. Alyssa Wong has taken this character so far. It's almost about as far as we can go right now, and it has basically turned her into chaotic good. That was the trajectory. That was the direction. I think that's the direction Kieran Gillen was maybe hoping she'd go on. And Alyssa really completed that job, and really brought it home. Like they really did the heavy lifting for that, for a lot of it, not exclusively, but so now what do you do with this character? Is she just another hero, or is there more nuance? What I think we actually need is to take a bit of a break from her, just to let us sit with, she's out there doing her thing. Maybe check in with her every now and then, but don't give her a main line just yet. I mean, that's the thing, is they're probably banking on the fact that she's easily got to be the highest grossing comics first character in the last 10 years of Star Wars comics. Got to be, and not just, we have that Vader number 3 that goes for thousands of dollars, first appearance, and they're probably banking on, throw Afra on there, it'll sell, and we can do whatever they want. And so I think now give it a break, maybe do another audio play, maybe again do a novel, but I think best bet is to do a break and have her pop into other stories every now and then. Because it was interesting. It was odd. Like she shows up in Battle of Jakku for a cup of coffee, just to check in, that kind of thing. It was a cool check-in, that kind of thing. But that also depends on what else is coming. Again, we don't know what this ongoing run is going to do. Like we were saying, it's probably not going to go very long. And I mean that's the only run that's actually set in this era then. So unless this is gonna be something new. So that's the thing with Afra. You mentioned New York Comic Con. We will do we'll probably be able to do a bigger recap in 2 weeks. But let's bring that up. Like going into it, given what we know, what are you hoping for? What are you kind of expecting?
Yeah, I'm hoping for why not swing big? Let's just announce the next ongoing. Just acknowledge like, hey, this one's wrapping up in 4 issues, and starting at the beginning of next year, we're gonna have a brand new number 1. I don't know where it's gonna be, but I'd like to talk about that. I mean, I really want a new novel announced and not a tie-in novel. I was bummed that the next novel we got announced is just another tie-in novel to a video game that got canceled. It's like, come on. Literally that day, there's the reports that Outlaws got canceled, and then Lucasfilm was like, oh, but here's a book. Well, do we really care now? So let's get like a good novel in the vein of Adam Christopher's Darth Vader upcoming novel. Like I want to see a good author deep diving into a character that is just going to create a good story. We're not tying in anything. We're We're gonna peel back the layers on this character, take a deep dive.
Yeah.
And if not, just make another Timothy Zahn Thrawn book announcement. I'll be happy too.
Well, I want Zahn to be writing Star Trek, but that's a whole other. Yeah. Let's hope. I mean, after last year, my expectations are kind of low.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Pretty.
I'm gonna be missing an Agents of Shield panel for this panel,
right?
Man. Oh,
yeah.
Better be bringing the goods, or I'll be a little bit disappointed.
Watch they declare Agents of Shield MCU canon.
Honestly, I'm kind of expecting him to like make an announcement of like we're coming back or something.
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, I'm bummed I'm not going. I do want to be there. The best part of cons, beyond the announcements, beyond the whatever is actually being there in person with people. So Chris, I will be living vicariously through you.
Yeah.
And then in 2 weeks when you're back at it, we're going to have Joel in. We're going to talk Hunt for the Falcon and Legacy of Vader, and also do our New York Comic Con recap. So that's the plan. 2 weeks from now, next week, Hunt for the Falcon does come out. Tides of Terror #2 also comes out, but you'll be en route to the Big Apple, and so settling in there for New York Comic Con. So I'm getting a guest in. We mentioned quite a few times about kind of the wider comic book industry and the distribution, all the changes that have gone on with Diamond and Penguin and all that. So getting an expert on to chat about all this and maybe what it means with an eye towards what it means for Marvel and Dark Horse, and what it means for hopefully with Star Wars in particular, with this very unique beast of integrated canon and IP and all that. So looking forward to that. I mean, Tides of Terror #2. I'm trying to remember what happened in issue #1. And
this is the problem when this. It's bad.
Yeah. Oh. Speaking of which, Poe Dameron and Codebreaker, I saw that got moved another few weeks. Last issue.
Hopefully.
Yeah. No, the other way.
Oh.
So yeah. We'll have to do some recaps of our own, but anyways, so that's what's coming out next week. Chris, I'll throw it to you. Any final thoughts on kind of the next few months, next few weeks, next week in Star Wars comics?
Yeah, I'm just waiting to get the ball drop next week. I'm gonna get the first-hand information from the people that work on these things themselves, and I wish they had a Q&A still, because I would definitely be asking quite a few questions.
Well, that's why they don't.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why. But you do your thing. Go up to the Minartist Alley and say, "Hey, what's happening?" There you go. Fun.
But I'm excited. I want to get more comics like Legacy of Vader.
Yeah,
that's the standout. That's what's doing the big heavy lifting, where we get newsworthy articles produced on the big reveals in that.
Yeah,
let's get more of that in comics. I want to go back there again. And if not, just give us a story about like Quinlan Voss. I don't know. I'm just throwing a random character out there.
Why not?
Give us a story, like an epic, like 12-issue series about some Jedi, non-Jedi that has like no whereabouts, that doesn't matter in canon, and just make an epic freaking story that we go, oh, did you ever hear about this character? Like Legends used to do. They would do that stuff all the time. Like, I don't understand why they can't just pick a obscure character and do a 12-issue run, kind of like Kanan. Like the Kanan series is a good example. Like just a really good compartmentalized story. It's not going to tie in, so they can go crazy with it.
Yeah. Just to note, the Legacy of Vader, it's number 11, coming in December, and that covers bonkers. It's Kylo Ren with the Vader mask coming down.
Oh yeah,
it's bonkers. So yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to Tides of Terror #2, Hunt for the Falcon #2, and everything living vicariously through you at New York Comic Con. Most wonderful time of the year. There we go. Check out your local comic book shop, pick those up, including if you're in Edmonton, the local comic book shop of the person I'm interviewing, Brandon, the Variant Edition. So check that out. Yeah, but if digital is more your speed, of course, check that out as well. But yeah, Chris, 50 minutes. We made it for the 50 minutes. We were like, oh, let's go half an hour. No, 50
you're
minutes.
really trying on this one, man.
I wasn't trying. I was just shooting it, shooting the turds. Anyway, thanks for chatting away. Where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, youtube.com/StarRaptor, and you can find me on Twitter and X at StarRaptor.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Yeah, everything's got going on there. You can find my personal Instagram, MNUG1138. That's also my blue sky, personal blue sky, and Threads. Gonna expect some Taylor Swift stories coming up in the next few days, because that's where my focus is shifting, by the way. So if you enjoy that, also beaches.foodie, although I haven't posted in there in a while. Seems like more of a summer thing, but anyway, NEG 485 on the Bird app, and of course, one more note.
Yeah, I did want to mention the panel time.
Yes.
So the panel is Lucasfilm Publishing Star Wars Stories from a Galaxy Far, Far Away. It's on Saturday, October 11th. It's from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. If you are there, it's in North Room 406.2. Get there early.
It's in the North building. Good.
This is going to be one of the more popular panels at the convention, and these are the rooms where they're not that big, and there's going to be a cap at the line. So knowing from experience, you're going to want to get in line as soon as you get into the building. Probably start heading there, which the doors open, I think, usually at 10. So maybe, take a quick lap around the con, and then probably get in line a good hour before, just to make sure you get in there. Because the line last year was huge, and it's like capped out. So get in the line around 10:30, 10:45. You'll get in. The guests, and you could, we can say who's talking about what pretty much at this point. So Adam Christopher is going to be there talking about Legacy. What is it? What is it about? Master of Evil. Yeah. Charles Soule will be there talking about Legacy of Vader. Ethan Sachs will be there revealing a new comic book. There, I said it. Jennifer Heddle is going to be talking about a new book that got announced. Kristen Baver will be talking about some Art of the High Republic book or something like that. Kwame Babala is going to be talking about the Last Order book, which I'm guessing will release like 2 weeks early that weekend, hopefully. And Mark Guggenheim will be talking about Jedi Knights, and that's the panel, and that's what we should go in expecting. For real, I don't know. I know we've interviewed Ethan Sachs on I don't have inside information. Yeah. But if you look at what he has out, I guess he can talk about Poe Dameron. It should be over by now, damn it. And then that would mean he would have to announce something new. But those are my guesses of what will happen in the panel. If I keep my expectations like that, I think I'll be fine.
Jen Heddle might be moderating, unless Michael Glenn is moderating.
Yeah, you're right. He's not anywhere on this thing.
Or Tom Holler. I think Charles might also talk about High Republic. Just because, just because, he talked about it at San Diego.
Okay.
So, I'd love that. I mean, I'm always in for talking about High Republic, so he might. But yeah, Legacy of Vader seems to be the thing he talked. Yeah. But I don't know. Here's hoping. Here's hoping those announcements there. So yeah.
No Alex Segura. That's another red flag, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, you never know. Maybe he had a conflict of something. I don't know. I'm kidding. It's New York Comic Con. You make it if you need to be there.
Pretty sure he's there already, but his own booth.
Yeah. He has his own booth there. Wow. Okay. In Artist Alley. So
really quick. We can end the show. I don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
I will. Here's what I'll do. I'll see what Chris posts on his Twitter, and I will post it on the Tractor Beam Blue Sky. We'll figure that out. Keep your eyes locked there. Of course, at the Tractor Beam biscuit.social and at Star Raptor. Also at the SWU for all your other Star Wars needs. And this past Monday, the Iron Cannon podcast, it was at 8:30 p.m. right here on this channel. Joel and I talked about canon miscontinuities. That's where the whole depiction of the New Republic came up. This coming week, What are we talking about this coming week? I forget. We're talking about something. I think it was my idea, but yeah, we're doing another kind of deep dive. Oh no, now I remember. We're doing a good old fashioned book review. We're reviewing the Bad Batch Sanctuary because we will both have it finished by then. And so,
amazing book.
Yeah. So definitely, yeah, check it out. Be honored if you would join us this Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, and then I'll be back at it next Wednesday with chatting about the comics industry and getting nerdy about that. So check that out. Yeah, there we go. 55 minutes, Chris. We made it. Until then, happy reading.